Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, we're going to be recapping the game from yesterday, February 23rd, 2023. Yeah, we're going to get right into it, not waste any more of your time. But before we do that, please subscribe to the channel for everyday NBA content. Literally, it's in the name, Everyday Hoops. I'm trying to do this every day. Alright, so subscribe, turn notifications, stuff like that. Alright, let's get right into it. These are the first games of the second half of the NBA season. Second half, after the post All-Star break era of the NBA this season. Not second half, because all these teams are already way past the first half, but you guys get what I mean. Let's get right into it. First game, we had the Denver Nuggets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Nuggets and Cavs. Start the game, it was really Nikola Jokic doing Nikola Jokic things in the first quarter. Finding his teammates, guys like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., KCP were hitting a lot of threes. The Nuggets got off to a good start, hitting their threes, and Nikola Jokic getting to the free throw line as well. Really getting to the free throw line. Nuggets were up 31-26 at the end of the first. The second quarter is Jared Allen really igniting this Cavalier team with energy, dunks, passes. Darius Garland and Evan Mobley also were finding each other and getting easy shots to the Cavaliers to, get this lead back into it. And they go up 57-56 at the end of the first half. And then we go into the third quarter, and it was Evan Mobley time. Evan Mobley put up 15 third quarter points. He was huge. Hit a bunch of floaters, getting down low and dunking. Hit a three-pointer as well. He's been very good this season. He had a very good third quarter, scoring 15 points, trying to give the Cavs the edge. But for the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. again hitting shots. Jeff Green as well. Provided a little bit of a spark off the bench. KCP was doing good things. And then the third quarter was ended by Reggie Jackson hitting an insane half-court bang three-pointer to cut the lead to 2. We go into the fourth quarter with a 91-89 lead for Cleveland. The start of the fourth, Donovan Mitchell tried to turn up. He had an and one, hit some shots at the end of the third. Did that same in the fourth quarter, started off hitting some shots, getting an and one as well. It looked like Donovan Mitchell was going to try to take over the fourth quarter. He tried, but it didn't really work like that. It was very close throughout this entire game. These are two of the better teams in the NBA, so of course, they're both going to play very well. Nikola Jokic just started hitting some shots the more we got into the fourth quarter. Hit some threes. Just doing regular Jokic stuff, moving the ball around. Finding Michael Porter Jr., who was huge in this game as well. I feel like Michael Porter Jr. was open. Every time you saw him on the court, he was open. Because the Cavs were trying to double Jokic, and then Jokic would pass out to the next guy, and the next guy would find Michael Porter Jr., who's always around in the corner, always around looking for threes. And the Cavaliers' really lack of shooting in the fourth quarter really showed as well, with the Nuggets, MPJ, and KCP were hitting threes. The Cavs couldn't find any three-pointers to go in. And then with 2:15 left in the fourth quarter, Michael Porter Jr. hits a corner three to make it 114-109 and seal the game. The Nuggets win 115-109. Now have a 6-game lead over the Memphis Grizzlies for first place in the Western Conference. Looking at the team stats, the Nuggets, the three-point shooting was huge. The Nuggets hit 17 three-pointers, shot 47%. The Cavs hit just 6 three-pointers on 23% shooting. They also out-assisted Cleveland 30-24. The Cavs forced more turnovers, though. They forced 16 Denver Nugget turnovers, but then again, couldn't really perform off those, couldn't hit threes, and lost the game. Nikola Jokic had another triple-double, leading the league with 22. He had 24 points, 18 rebounds, 13 assists on 8 for 13 shooting. And the Denver Nuggets are also 22-0 when Nikola Jokic records a triple-double this season. Just shows how great he is and how fantastic he is. Michael Porter Jr. chipped in as well with 25 points, hitting 6 of his 10 three-pointers. KCP has 17 points. He hit all of his shots today, including 4 for 4 for 3. He also had 3 steals and 2 blocks. Jamal Murray didn't shoot well in this game. He shot just 6 for 19 and 3 for 11 from 3. But he had 16 points and 9 assists. Jeff Green had 11 points off the bench. And Vlatko Konchar, who started for Aaron Gordon in this game, had 10 points. For the Cavaliers, Evan Mobley finished with 31 points and 9 rebounds. He had 15 third-quarter points and I don't think scored in the fourth quarter. He shot 12 for 19 from the field. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell combined each had 22 points, but they combined to shoot just 16 for 42 from the field and 3 for 13 from 3. They combined for 6 steals, though. But they have to shoot a lot better than that, especially knowing how this team lacks shooting. Um, Definitely have to do better than that. And then Jared Allen had 14 points and 13 rebounds. Cavs didn't really get much help from anywhere else. Karis LeVert had 9 assists, but that was really it. And the Denver Nuggets get a 115-109 win over Cleveland. Next game we had was the Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic. Not a good game. What we thought was going to happen. We thought it wasn't going to be that good of a game, but it turned out to be actually a pretty good one. It was a pretty average first quarter. Free throws, guys hitting shots, guys missing. Magic were up 28-26 at the end of the first. But the second quarter, very bad. If you did not tune into the second quarter, you're fine. You actually are doing better than the people that did tune in, because it was very bad. The Pistons scored 20 points and shot 8 for 19. The Magic scored 19 points and shot 7 for 26. The Pistons also had 7 turnovers in the quarter. It was very bad. Very bad second quarter. The Magic went into the halftime up 47-46. We go into the third quarter. The Pistons start out good. Isaiah Stewart hit a three-pointer with 8:15 left in the third to put the Pistons up by 1. But after that, at that point on, after Isaiah Stewart hit that 3, the Magic then go on a 15-0 run led by Markelle Fultz, Franz Wagner, and Paolo, and they go up 14 points. Great run from Orlando, but the Pistons stay in it. Hamidou Diallo and Bojan Bogdanovic are hitting shots and kept this game close. And we go into the fourth quarter with an 80-79 game. Cole Anthony also hit some big shots at the end of the third and start of the fourth quarter. And this game was very good. The fourth quarter was very good, very back and forth. Two not so great teams going at it. It's bound for anything really to happen in this game. Very close fourth quarter. The last few possessions, Wendell Carter hit a crazy shot off the glass that looked like it was going to be an and one. Eventually didn't count, but he still hit both free throws. Then we go later in the game. Jane Ivey misses 2 free throws with 50 seconds left that were very pivotal. But the Pistons get the ball back, and Bojan Bogdanovic misses a shot in this game. But then they come down and force a shot clock violation. They were down 3 at this point. They force a shot clock violation, and they get the ball back. James Wiseman hits a hook shot, and then they foul Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner hits 2 free throws to make it a 3-point lead. They call a timeout with 8 seconds left. On the Pistons inbound, Isaiah Stewart gets the ball and finds a sprinting Jane Ivey coming down the court. He pulls up and hits a ridiculous 3-pointer as he falls to the ground over Wendell Carter Jr. That definitely could have argued could have been a 4-point play. He hits a ridiculous 3 to tie the game with 4 seconds left. On the last possession, Paolo Banchero goes to the rim, misses the layup, but Wendell Carter Jr. is there and taps it in. We don't know for sure. At first, we thought it was an offensive interference or something happened. We checked the replay, and it turns out it is a good basket, and Wendell Carter Jr. wins it at the buzzer for Orlando, 108-106. A great ending to this game. Now, when we look at the team stats, the Pistons actually outshot the Magic, which is very rare to say. The Pistons are not very good. They don't outshoot people a lot. But they shot 46% from the field and 50% from 3. But the turnovers, the Magic are a good defensive team. They force turnovers, and that's what they did last night, forcing 19 Detroit Piston turnovers. They also assisted Detroit 27-22 and got the win. For Orlando, Franz Wagner was the leading scorer with 21 points on 7 for 13 shooting. Cole Anthony had a good game off the bench with 15, 4, and 4. Wendell Carter Jr. had 14 and 14, while hitting the big shot as well with 2 blocks. Markelle Fultz had 14 points and 8 assists. Paolo Banchero kind of struggled shooting in this game, shooting just 4 for 13. He had 11, 6, and 6 in this game. For Detroit, Jane Ivey had a great game, 25 points. He shot 9 for 13 and 5 for 7 from 3. I've really been liking watching Jane Ivey's rookie season. He's just been very consistent. He hasn't really had any bad stretches. This year, he's been very consistently solid. And last night, he had a great game, hitting a lot of clutch shots. He's going to be very good. As long as he stays like this, stays consistent, he's going to be very good. Alec Burks, the savvy veteran, 16 points, hitting all 4 of his 3-pointers. Hamidou Diallo had 12. Killian Hayes had 12. Yeah, not a good shooting game from Bojan Bogdanovic. He shot just 3 for 12, had 7 points. A rare bad game from him. And now the Pistons are only a half game behind Indiana Pacers for the 12th seed in the East. Only a game and a half behind the Bulls for the 11th seed. They're 4 games out of the play-in, so they're probably not going to make it there. But then again, you never know what's going to happen in the Eastern Conference especially. Next, speaking of the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers played a game as well. A little bit of something between these teams. They made a trade in the offseason. Malcolm Brogdon and Aaron Nesmith basically got traded for each other. So they're two playing their former teams. And this game came out to start, and it was a 3-point mania. Both teams were hitting so many threes to start this game. Yeah, a very back and forth 3-point shooting game. The Celtics tried to kind of take over. Brogdon and Derek White came in and hit a couple of 3-pointers to make it a 9-point lead. But then Chris Duarte hits a 3 at the buzzer at the end of the first. The Celtics were up 34-31. We go into the second quarter, and the Celtics play really well. In the second quarter, try to pull away from Indiana. They go up 14 points multiple times in the second quarter. The Celtics take a 68-58 lead at halftime. The teams combine to hit 17 first half 3-pointers. Going to the third quarter, the Pacers start on a 12-2 run led by Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, who was ridiculous in this game. And they take a 1-point lead, 71-70. The Pacers also outscore Boston 39-32 in the third quarter, led by Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, who were hitting many shots. Tyrese Halliburton was finding his teammates like he always does. But the Celtics still have a 100-97 lead after 3. Going into the fourth quarter, Miles Turner and Benedict Mathurin both hitting big 3-pointers, while Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were counter-offering them with big 3-pointers as well. Again, it's 3-point mania out there. And I feel like whoever was going to get cold first would lose this game. We fast forward to 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown gets a controversial call on Buddy Hield on a 3-pointer. It's challenged, but it is upheld. Jaylen Brown goes to the free throw line for 3 free throws and makes only 1 out of 3. Instead of a 4-point game, it's only a 1-point game. And then we come down the other end. Tyrese Halliburton gets fouled and hits 2 free throws to tie it at 125-125. In the last 2 possessions of regulation, Tyrese Halliburton tries to go one-on-one by himself and tries to hit some tough step-back threes, but just can't get it to go. Not great offense. And we go into overtime. In overtime, Benedict Mathurin hits a big 3-pointer to go up 197, but then comes down the other end and fouls Marcus Smart on a 3-pointer, to which he gets angry about, says something to the ref, makes a gesture, and he gets hit with a technical foul. All 4 free throws were made, and the Celtics go up by 1. A big 4-point swing there. Marcus Smart was doing great things well. He had another shot in overtime. That was big. But after that possession, after those free throws were made, Miles Turner hits a big corner 3 to tie the game. We pass forward to 40 seconds left in overtime. Jason Tatum hits 2 free throws to go up by 2 points. The Pacers come down and miss. Celtics come down the other end. Jason Tatum takes a step-back 3 near the end of the shot clock and misses. Marcus Smart gets an offensive rebound. Takes a fadeaway jump shot, and he misses. But Jason Tatum at the right place at the right time tips back in a layup to go up by 4. They seal the game on the defensive end the next play, and they win 142-138. A very, very high-scoring game. Both teams shot 52% from the field. The Celtics hit 18 3-pointers. The Pacers hit 22. The big differential was the rebounding. The Celtics out-rebounded Indiana 51-37, including 20 offensive rebounds. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown each had double-doubles with rebounds. They both also had 30 points again. Tatum having 31, Brown having 30. This is their 9th game of the year where they each had 30. The only duo to have more in the last 30 years, Kobe and Shaq did it twice in the early 2000s. That's amazing company to be in. Tatum finished with 31, 12, and 7, even though he shot rough again from the field, shooting 9 for 25 and 3 for 12 from 3. But he hit 10 free throws and hit the big shot. And Jaylen Brown had 30 and 11. Malcolm Brogdon against his former team was amazing off the bench with 24, 5, and 7 on 9 for 12 shooting. Derek White had another great game with 17 points, and Marcus Smart had 15. For Indiana, Miles Turner continuing his amazing career season, putting up 40 points and 10 rebounds last night on 13 for 15 shooting and 8 of his 10 3-pointers. He's the first center in NBA history to have a game with 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 3-pointers made. He's the 10th player in NBA history to do it, joining company of names like Stephen Curry, James Harden, Kobe Bryant, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, and now add Miles Turner to that list. He's been amazing this season. Got awarded with a contract extension a little bit earlier. He's been playing phenomenal. He had a phenomenal game last night and an almost win Tyrese Halliburton was doing Halliburton things with 22 points and 14 assists. Bennedict Mathurin put up 19 off the bench, and Buddy Hield had 18. An amazing fight by the Pacers, but couldn't close it out. They've been very much struggling the last month and a half of the year, which really sucks because they were doing really well to start. But at least, they have a lot of things to be excited about this season. And yeah, honestly, if this would have been any other team, they could have won this game. But because it was the best team in the league, they hit 22 threes and lost. The next game we had was the Pelicans and the Raptors. A low-scoring first quarter. The Raptors were up 23-19 at the end of the first. Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam were doing solid, as well as Brandon Ingram. Go to the second quarter. Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent Jr. hitting three-pointers in the second. Raptors go up by as many as 12. But the Pelicans bench guys like Josh Richardson, Larry Nance Jr. or bringing New Orleans back. The Raptors going to halftime with a 54-45 lead. The third quarter starts with Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas hitting shots to try to keep the Pelicans in this game, but the Toronto Raptors were slowly fighting their way to a higher and higher lead, eventually going up by 15 points at the end of the third, 92-77. The Pelicans needed to jump in this fourth quarter, and CJ McCollum provided it, scoring 9 straight early in the fourth quarter to bring it a 9-point game. It was going back and forth from that point on. With 2:37 left in the fourth quarter, OG Anunoby gets a steal and dunk to make it a 101 game. But then Brandon Ingram takes over. Brandon Ingram scores 7 straight points, 2 free throws, a tough three-pointer, and a fadeaway to make it 111-108. He then fouls Jakob Poeltl on the other end, who hits one of his 2 free throws to make it a 4-point game. Brandon Ingram comes down, hits another jumper to make it 112-110. And then with 15 seconds left in the game, Gary Trent Jr. hits a clutch winning three-pointer to make it a 5-point game and seal the game. They win 115-110. Look at the team stats in this game. The Raptors only hit 9 3-pointers to the Pelicans 13, but they shot 47% from the field. They forced 13 turnovers, and they played a really good game. Pascal Siakam finished with 26, 4, and 5, even though he shot just 9 for 21 from the field. Jakob Poeltl had another great game, 21 points, 18 rebounds, 3 steals on 9 for 11 shooting. And so far, since he's come back to Toronto from the trade deadline, he has been phenomenal and just what the Raptors needed. In his 4 games with Toronto so far this year, he's averaging just under 16 points per game, with 9 rebounds, just under 2 assists, 1.5 steals, 2.5 blocks, shooting 83% from the field. Those are incredible numbers. And he's been exactly what they need. They need a big man that can just do all these things, and he's done it and a lot more. So Jakob Poeltl, he's been great this year. Even in San Antonio, he was really good. He's just a really good, sound, big man. Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent both had 18 points as well. OG Anunoby had 12 points on 5 for 13 shooting and shot 1 for 8 from 3. For the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram finished with 36 points and 7 rebounds on 12 for 27 shooting and hit 5 3-pointers. He's been amazing ever since he's gotten back from injury. CJ McCollum had a solid game with 23, 4, and 5 on 50% shooting. Jonas Valanciunas had 12 points and 12 rebounds. And Josh Richardson, who got the start today, had 11 points. He has been a perfect fit with this New Orleans team. And the Raptors are now the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. They're tied with the Washington Wizards, and they're only a half game behind Atlanta for the 8th seed. Raptors are coming, man. I'm saying it. The Raptors are coming. Next game we had was the Grizzlies and the Philadelphia 76ers on TNT. And this game started off with Desmond Bane getting hot. Desmond Bane put up 21 first quarter points. He scored 21 of the 37 Grizzly points. He almost outscored the Sixers. The Sixers scored 22 as a team in the first. Bane had 21. The Grizzlies were up 37-22. The second quarter, the Memphis reserves added on guys like Santi Aldama, Tyus Jones, and David Roddy, playing very well to kind of add on to this lead. And at the end of the second quarter, Jaren Jackson hit a crazy, kind of fluky bank 3-point shot on the wing at the end of the shot clock to give the Grizzlies a 59-47 lead at halftime. The third quarter, the Sixers definitely made a comeback. James Harden was really the leader of it, hitting step-back threes, but also finding his teammates and getting them involved in this comeback. They got to within single digits multiple times. It was 2 maxi shots to end the third. It was 81-75 going into the fourth. In the fourth quarter, Jaren Jackson hit a tough dunk to make it an 11-point game. The Sixers made a comeback, but then the Grizzlies would respond. But then with 6:07 left in the fourth quarter, David Roddy had a dunk to go up by 11. And from that point on, the Sixers go on a 14 to 4 runs to tie the game at 100 with about 3 minutes left. Fast forward after some back and forthness, PJ Tucker gets a big offensive rebound on a James Harden shot, and Tucker finds Tobias Harris in the corner, hit a 3-pointer to give the Sixers a 106-105 lead, their first lead in a very long time. Next possession, John Morant misses a pull-up jumper. They come down the other end. James Harden finds Joel Embiid for an emphatic dunk to make it 108-105. The next possession, Desmond Bane gets 2 good looks from 3, but can't get him to go, and Jaren Jackson also misses. But Jalen McDaniels getting the rebound. The next possession, the Sixers off an inbound. They foul Tobias Harris, Georges Niang, and Jaren Jackson Jr. get into a little bit of an argument. Dillon Brooks and Joel Embiid come in and get involved, and both get double technical fouls. Earlier in the first quarter as well, James Harden and Dillon Brooks got into it earlier after James Harden didn't like how Dillon Brooks was playing him even after the whistle happened. So, but you know the Grizzlies. Tobias Harris hits 2 free throws, and that seals the game. The Sixers with a 110-105 comeback win over Memphis. A big win for them. Looking at the shooting, both teams didn't shoot that well from the field. The Grizzlies shot just 39%. The Sixers shot 40%. The Grizzlies shot just 7 for 32 from 3, though. And the Sixers hit 13 in this game. That was kind of a difference. And the Grizzlies, their star players couldn't really hit shots consistently in this game. And the Sixers stars did when they really needed it to. James Harden was huge in this comeback win. He was the best player on the court, I feel like, today in that game. 31.7 rebounds, 7 assists on 6 for 9 3-point shooting. He's been spectacular with Philly this season. Really love seeing what he's been doing. And he really sparked this comeback win. Joel had 27, 19, and 6 with 6 blocks, really dominating the paint without Steven Adams for the Grizzlies. He shot just 7 for 25 from the field, but he hit 13 of his 17 free throws. Tobias Harris also hit some clutch 3-pointers. He had 20 points. And Tyrese Maxey had 16 points on 6 for 18 shooting off the bench. For Memphis, Desmond Bane had 21 first quarter points, but finished the game with just 25 on 10 for 20 shooting. Couldn't really get anything going after the first. Jaren Jackson had 18 and 9 with 4 blocks, but shot just 5 for 16. And John Morant was really struggling in this game. Trying to get to the rim, but just couldn't get anything to go. 15 points, 5 assists. He shot 3 for 16 from the field. Joel Embiid was really locking that paint down. Dillon Brooks had 11, and Xavier Tillman had 12 rebounds off the bench. For the Grizzlies, they have not been very good as of recently. A lot of people talking about the Shannon Sharp incident, him and Dillon Brooks in LA. But the big factor, really, Steven Adams is showing that he's a lot more integral piece of the team than what we actually think. Ever since Steven Adams went out with a PCL injury, they've gone 4-8, including big losses to Sacramento and Toronto. They also lost to Boston and Philly, and Cleveland as well. They just haven't looked the same. And Steven Adams is a big part. Steven Adams, one of the strongest dudes in the league. He sets a lot of screens for John Morant and Desmond Bane and them to get open. He also is big on the rebounding glass. Like, if Steven Adams plays in this game, Joel probably might not have 19 rebounds and 6 blocks. He's really good in the paint, getting rebounds, getting putbacks, and he's just a tough guy, gritty guy, does a lot of the dirty work, and just, like, he gets easy shots. Like, he's always down in the paint, so Ja can give the ball, or Desmond Bane can give the ball down with Steven Adams. He can clean up their messes, and he's been a huge loss for them. So Grizzlies really need Steven Adams to get back soon, because now they're only 2 games above Sacramento for the number 2 spot in the Western Conference. Move for Philly, a big gritty win for them. They won 5 in a row. They now have a 3-game lead over Cleveland for that number 3 seed, and only 2 games behind Milwaukee for their number 2 seed. They have been very good as of recently, ever since kind of their slowish start. They've really picked it up and are forced to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. Next game we had was the San Antonio Spurs and Dallas Mavericks. A lot of free throws for the Mavericks in the first quarter, I noticed. A lot of free throws in the first. Luka, Kyrie, all of them getting a lot of free throws in the first quarter. In the first, up 34-26. But the Spurs kept it tight all game. Malachi Branham, Kid Abate-Diop had a really good second quarter trying to keep this game close. But the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie, Luka, and Reggie Bullock hit some shots. And the Mavericks go into halftime with a 74-63 lead. The third quarter, the Spurs actually outscored Dallas 27-25. Again, Malachi Branham playing really good. Keldon Johnson had a really good all-around game. Guys like Zach Collins, Kid Abate-Diop hitting some shots. And then Spurs are only down 99-90 at the end of the third quarter. But then we go to the fourth quarter, and the Mavericks put this game away. An avalanche of threes come down on San Antonio. The Mavericks score 43 fourth quarter points and win 142 to 116 to get their first win with Luka and Kyrie out together on the court. The Mavericks shot 56% from the field. They hit 22 three-pointers, shooting 52% from three. You know, the Spurs are the worst defensive team in the league, so that's kind of bound to happen. They also forced 16 San Antonio turnovers in this game and had 10 steals and 5 blocks. Luka finished with 28, 7, and 10. Very just cool game for him. Kyrie had 23 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. was big in this game with 22 points off the bench on 6 for 11 three-point shooting. Christian Wood had 16. Justin Holiday had 15 points and 5 threes off the bench. A good addition for them. Reggie Bullock had 12 points and 4 threes. Josh Green had 11. Dwight Powell, 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. For San Antonio, Malachi Branham continued his pretty solid last month with 23 points, 5 assists on 9 for 17 shooting. Keldon Johnson had a very solid game with 22, 8, and 7. Keita Bates-Diop had 15 points. Zach Collins had 13 and 12 rebounds. Charles Bassey had 16 points off the bench. And Devontae Graham, 10 points and 5 assists. San Antonio Spurs, now on a 15-game losing streak, which is a franchise record, and are now tied with the Houston Rockets for the worst record in the NBA. Wemby, San Antonio's coming for you. Next game we had was a very important game in the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz, the 10 and 11 seed in the West, fighting for that last playing spot. Well, I don't know how much the Jazz are actually fighting for it, but they're still in it, so they technically are kind of fighting for it. The first possession of the game, very interesting. Walker Kessler hits his first career three-pointer on the first possession of the game. Good for him. Free throws in the first quarter, really. There's a free throw battle. Lauri Markkanen, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course. Jordan Clarkson had a very solid first quarter. Shai hit some free throws to close the first quarter out. The Jazz lead 28-26. Going into the second, it was very back and forth as well. Both teams, role players are showing up in the second. The Thunder scored the last 9 points of the second quarter. They go up 55-46 at halftime. The Thunder start the third quarter very well. They go up by 8 early after a Jalen Williams make basket. But then the Jazz role players start hitting shots. Guys like Ochai Agbaji, Taylor Horn Tucker, even Chris Dunn, the new 10-day signee, doing some very solid things. And the Thunder go up by 8 going into the fourth quarter, 86-78, with Shai hitting some shots to end the quarter off. We go into the fourth quarter, and it's the Lauri Markkanen show. Lauri Markkanen puts up 18 fourth quarter points. Huge, hitting some threes, getting to the rim, dunking on people. He's been fantastic this year. He had a fantastic fourth quarter with 18 points. Kenrich Williams was also hitting some very clutch shots for OKC as well, hitting some corner threes to keep this game close. Last few seconds, Walker Kessler gets a putback layup with 4 seconds left to tie the game at 106. And then we come down the other end. Isaiah Joe tries to get a basket to win it, but Walker Kessler says no and declines it. And we go into overtime. Overtime early, the Thunder take control. Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hitting some shots. Jordan Clarkson hits a big three-pointer at one point as well. Go to 35 seconds left in overtime. Josh Giddey hits a layup to make it a 3-point game. Jordan Clarkson hits 2 free throws to make it a 2-point game. Come down, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets fouled by Ochai Agbaji. Very controversial call. They upheld it after review, and he only hits 1 out of 2 free throws to make it a 2-point game instead of a 3-point game. We come down, the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen, the guy, gets fouled by Lou Dort on a 3-pointer with 4 seconds left. They challenge it. It also gets upheld. Lauri Markkanen hits all free throws to go up 1. The last possession of the game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander working on the Utah Jazz defenders. You know he's clutch. Steps through, takes a very solid shot, and it just rolls off the rim. And the Utah Jazz get a nice comeback win, 120-119. For the Jazz, they outshot OKC 42% to 40%. Outshot them from 3 as well. They hit 13 threes. Thunder hit just 8 in this game. Thunder really needed some solid 3-point shooting in that game, because the Jazz take a lot of threes. So as long as you can hit your solid from 3, you can beat them. The turnover is very interesting. The Jazz had 21 turnovers and still won this game, which I think is 2 games in a row where they had a lot of turnovers and still won this game. Both teams had a lot of rebounds. But yeah, it was really Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen in the fourth quarter overtime was amazing. He finishes with 43 points and 10 rebounds on 15 for 28 shooting. He's been ridiculous this season. He had another great game. Jordan Clarkson was huge in this game as well with 24 points and 6 assists, and he had a lot of clutch shots. Ochai Agbaji, Kelly Olynyk each had 12. Chris Dunn in his first game with the Jazz had 11. Walker Kessler has 7 points, 18 rebounds, and 7 blocks. Amazing stat line with a three-pointer in there as well. Young Rudy showing up. For OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finishes with 39, 8, and 7, hitting 15 of his 19 free throws. You know how he gets down. Josh Giddey had 18 and 11, and he shot 8 for 23, which is very interesting seeing Josh Giddey shoot 23 shots. Kenrich Williams had 16 off the bench. Lou Dort had 11 and 11. And Jalen Williams, the Arkansas one, had 11 points. The Jazz now move up to 9th in the Western Conference at 30 and 31. Next game was the Trailblazers in Sacramento taking on the Kings. Now, the Blazers got to this game late because of some weather issues, and they got on the plane and got into Sacramento kind of late. And they also had injuries. No Damian Lillard, no Anthony Simons, no Jeremy Grant, no Jusuf Nurkic. 4 of their 5 starters and their 4 best players all out. But of course, all the best players are out. They get off to a 22-6 start led by Cam Reddish and Nas Little. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But the Sacramento Kings bench brings it back. Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, Trey Lyles hit shots to bring this lead back to a reasonable game. We go to the second quarter. Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox lead a Kings outburst in the second, outscoring Portland 37-20 in the second quarter. They go up 66-57 at half. The Blazers bring it back to a 3-point game at one point in the third quarter, and the game's actually tied at the end of the third, 34-34. The Kings are still up 100-91. We go to the fourth quarter. The Kings get off to a good start. De'Aaron Fox being very clutch and very efficient, hitting his shots. Terrence Davis and Malik Monk as well contributing. And the Kings slowly, every minute, I feel like the lead went up by 5 points and got growing until eventually the Kings end up winning 133-116. The Kings finished shooting 54% from the field and 41% from 3. They out-rebounded Portland 51-33. And the Blazers just didn't have enough offensive firepower, and the Kings are a great offense. De'Aaron Fox finishes with 31 points on 11 for 15 shooting. Domantas Sabonis has 18, 18, and 10 with 3 steals and a great triple-double. Terrence Davis and Malik Monk off the bench combined for 35 points on 12 for 20 shooting, which is huge. Harrison Barnes had 15 points, and Kevin Huerter and Keegan Murray each had 10 points. For Portland, even though they didn't have any of their stars, they played a good game. Nas Little had 26 points on 10 for 19 shooting, 5 for 9 from 3, and had 4 steals as well. Very big for him to have good games. He finally gets to show himself after a lot of injuries and just lack of playing time, really. And Cam Reddish also had 24 points on 7 for 18 shooting. Finally playing basketball. Would love to see it. Keon Johnson had 16 off the bench, and Trendon Watford had 15 points off the bench as well. And yeah, that's really what it was. The Blazers didn't have anybody, and the Kings are a good offense. In the final game, the Lakers and the Warriors on TNT. Another big game in the Western Conference. And this was a very close first quarter. Both teams going back and forth. No one really had the big advantage over anyone else. Both teams are hitting big shots. The story of the first was D'Angelo Russell spraining his ankle, trying to inbound a pass. Dante DiVincenzo was behind him. He got put into extension. DiVincenzo tried to come out and run back to the other side of the court, but he, fortunately, just his foot's in the wrong place, and D'Angelo Russell steps on it, and Russell sprains his ankle. Doesn't get to return in this game. Hopefully, he's not out for too long. The Lakers scored the last 7 points of the first quarter to end the first, going up 31-23. The second quarter, Austin Reeves making some great plays. The role players, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, Jared Vanderbilt, building on to this Laker lead. Go up big, by as many as 13 in the second quarter. But then the Warriors end the first half on a 14-5 run led by Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson, and Jonathan Kuminga as well. And the Lakers going into the first half up 59-56. We go to the third quarter. In the first half of the third quarter, the Lakers go on a huge run, a 20-7 run to go up 16 points. Start off with LeBron, but then Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, Malik Beasley hitting some shots to go up 16. The Warriors try to fight back, but every time they would fight back, the Lakers, guys like Mo Bamba, Malik Beasley, would hit a big shot. Go into the fourth quarter up 95-80. The Warriors just can't find any offense. Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson struggled to shoot in this game. And when that happens, especially without Steph Curry, there is no chance. The Lakers pile it on, and they win 124-111. A huge win. A win that they need. They need to win these games against their Western Conference opponents that are also trying to make the play-in. And they did that. The Lakers shot 49% from the field. They hit 16 threes, shot 53% from three, had 30 assists to the Warriors 24, and out-rebounded Golden State 58-48. Malik Beasley was the leading scorer, had 25 points with 7 three-pointers made. LeBron and AD each only played 26 minutes and only had 25 points combined, which is as much as Malik Beasley had. When's the last time that's happened in a Laker win? Huh? Off the bench, Austin Reeves had an amazing game, 17 points on 6 for 6 shooting. He's actually really good. Like, unironically, not even joking, Austin Reeves is a very good NBA player. Rui Hachimura had 14 points, Dennis Schroeder had 13, Mo Bamba had 10 and 13 off the bench. Lonnie Walker even came in and had 10 points in 8 minutes. For Golden State, without Steph Curry, is very tough. Klay Thompson had 22 points, he shot just 8 for 19. Jordan Poole shot just 3 for 13 with 16 points. Ty Jerome had 20 off the bench. Kevon Looney had 10 and 15. Patrick Baldwin even came in at 11 points. Draymond Green had 6, 11, and 5. And the Warriors are now under 500 at 29 and 30, down to 10th in the Western Conference. And the Lakers, a huge win. They're still 13th, but a huge win for them. And that's it. That's the end of today's episode of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm also on Twitter at EverydayHoops10. Alright, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.